what you'll see is we set this third course, and then we'll go to the firebox liner. So we'll get these pieces set, and then we'll start setting the firebox liner. Now, Bruce, hold that piece up and show them. That is not this, Bruce? Okay. This last piece he put in is not as high as the rest of them because that is the top of the firebox wall. That is as high as we go, and the flame will go over the top of that.
See, this one is a shorter piece.
Okay.
So what happens is then once you see the firebox, all this flame builds up in here and then pours over this wall and then down through there. Now, a number of people have asked us why we went with an arched door as opposed to a square door. We've done it for a number of reasons. One, visually a lot of people like an arched door. The other is that an arch is very strong. And in the cast iron door as well as the cast refractory, the arch holds up a lot better than a square opening. The square openings that we've worked with have a tendency to crack. Basically, there are a couple reasons for a firebox liner. One is, as I explained earlier, that you have the floating firebox. The other is the fact that refractory being used almost daily over a period of 20 or 30 years will wear out. And you don't want to have to tear your whole unit down to be able to come up with a rebuilt unit. And so this unit is designed so that you can come in, pull the firebox out, and completely replace it. Your face brick will be coming right along here. The door mounts right in front of there. The way the door is mounted, this clips to your face brick. Okay? So the only thing that's exposed into the fire, okay, well, the way the clip goes here, you can see it slides through and clips to the face brick. Okay? So the only thing that's exposed to the fire is the inside of the castable refractory and this cast iron surface. I can't tell you how many bolts we melted down before we realized that the bolt had to be behind the metal. The cast iron doors, that's not glass actually, that's a pyroceram which will handle temperatures up to about 2,000 degrees. And because the fire's so hot, the glass does not fog up. You know, people say, well, you know, how do you keep the glass clean? If your glass is dirty, your fire's not hot enough. Now, you'll see that the firebox liners are taller than the outer shell. They're 12 inches high, whereas the outer shell is 9 inches high. The reason for that, you don't want your joints lining up. It's just like flue liners and concrete block. You know, you want to not have joints line up. You want it to seal up as tight as you can. And so we have those altering sizes. Also, 3 courses of 12-inch block make the right size firebox. Okay, the firebox should be laid tight to the front of the unit. Now, Bruce, why is that?
So your expansions to the back.
So the expansions to the back, and so that it seals up around the door as much as possible. Well, go ahead and set the first course of the firebox, and then let's stop so people can come and look inside.
Yeah, the door.
The firebox is made out of the same material as the outside?
Yes, right.
Putting a double.
Right,
And giving you a
right,
expansion.
right. The third thing that happens, I've told you 2 things that the double-walled firebox does. The third thing it does is that it balances the heat of the unit, because the majority of the heat's being created in the firebox. And so if you don't double wall that, then it gets really hot on the firebox area. This keeps that temperature down a little bit. Fire brick are typically dry pressed, so they have the same kind of stresses throughout their surfaces. When you extrude a fire brick, that gives different stresses. And so what they found out about extruded fire brick is that in higher temperatures, they fall apart because that heating and cooling causes them to just what they call spall. And so spall. Good Mason word.
This woman's thinking about going on. Oh, God. That's amazing.
So it's
Don't you lose some up? Yeah.
I'm too. No, they're still mad.
They bush. You are called they bush.
They bush. What's that?
During World War II, they bush with jerk.
We go to the reason we do this is just that it starts getting too difficult reaching way down inside. It gets hard on your body, so it's a lot easier to build up your 3 courses, do your 2 interior firebox courses, go back to your exterior courses here.
Most of the time, we have our HUD carrier do all the claying on these things. Because he's usually standing around watching you, so we just let him play the joints and have them ready.
The thing that you can see with this is that it's very structural in and of itself. It all locks together so that it locks itself in.
When we get there, we should talk about putting on front and back and building block wall behind it if you have to.
Okay, let's go to liner course 3.
Okay, once you've set this course in, you go back to firebox liner.
Now, in this course, it's going to be different from most of what you've seen before. All you see here now is you normally have the groove up.
Tongue.
That tongue, yeah. On the liner, on the firebox liner, on the top course, you're going to put the groove up. It's usually the groove's down, but this one is different because the lid is going to lock the firebox liner in place then.
It locks it in place as well as locking it together so that, if by some odd circumstance you get a crack, that firebox lid will still never fall in. It's locked in top and bottom and on the sides.
So this course here will not be an interlocking course. The course number 3 of the firebox does not interlock with course number 2 of the firebox liner.
And again, the reason it doesn't interlock is so that you can take it out. If you get this thing so interlocked, you'll never get those pieces out of there again. Now, show them that piece before you put it in. This piece is set up. What's happening is your firebox dimension is changing from this big firebox and going down into this flue. And so you've got to shape that emission or that gas coming out of there. And you've got to do it fairly smoothly. So this piece actually changes the dimension of how that flame is, and it basically squeezes it down and sends it down into a flue that is rectangular shaped. So I want you to see this before he sets it, but once he sets it, you can come up and see how that actually works inside the firebox.
Here, yes.
Right.
Going up, going down, and then they're coming up here and beginning their trip through the rest of
No, no.